He's rolling in the Morbius dollars.
Yeah,
so
he's
he
got
could,
that Morbius money.
He could pay for it. Oh, making fun of Morbius will never be old.
No.
Hello and welcome to not just any episode of Popcorn Bucket List 100. This is the 100th episode. I triple checked the math because I was going to be super embarrassed if we checked and it was like, no, I missed one.
Two off.
Yeah, the 100th episode was 2 weeks ago when we talked about Jennifer Lawrence and did nothing special or anything like that. No, I triple checked the math. 100. As you mentioned here, not including specials.
Yep, not including specials, not including some of the shorts and other things that we've done. Just Popcorn Bucket List.
100 times we have sat down at a table and we have talked about what's coming up with movies and everything.
That's a long time.
It's been a while here, but the process definitely got sped up when we went to weekly.
Yes.
I don't think we would have. Where would we even be if we were still in the monthly format?
I couldn't even tell you.
I
could tell you, but I don't want to do the math.
We would maybe be celebrating our 50th spectacular this week.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And with the past few years, the way they've been, half of our dates for movies coming out would have been wrong.
And that was one of the reasons why we switched to weekly, because I was so sick and tired of doing the movie preview, and there was movies at the end of the month, and then by the time we got to that point, it was like, oh, Morbius got pushed 2 months. And I was like,
oh.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We got a lot to cover here. Let's start off with we got a little something special here for the people out there. As a thank you to all of you beautiful viewers out there who have stuck with us since the beginning, or even if you are new to the scene, this is your first time watching or whatever, we got the opportunity here for you to win a prize as a thank you.
We like prizes.
Well, I know we like prizes, but we're not eligible for it.
Sure.
We can't. It'd be kind of corrupt if we did that.
Yeah.
But on behalf of us, and thanks to the Marshall 6 Theater here in Marshall, Minnesota, the prize is a $100 gift card to the Marshall 6 Theater in celebration for 100 episodes here.
100 smackers.
Yep, smackaroonies.
You know how many popcorns you can get with that?
Ooh. I mean, for me, that'd be a pretty good start. To my yearly intake of popcorn. Yeah. Probably.
A couple of Reese's, couple R&R combos.
A lot of drinks, man. A lot of drinks you can get from that. A lot of movie tickets, a whole bunch of stuff up for grabs, basically, is what we're... So, yeah, I guess depending on how often you would use the card, we're possibly offering movies for a year. I don't know. It depends on how often you use it. I guess it really is up to you. But,
that's a great point.
You're probably asking yourself out there, how do I get my hands on this card? Well... Follow me on here. We got a little bit of a competition here. We're going to be hosting essentially a drawing. This video comes out Thursday, 5:30. You have from that moment till Thursday of next week, 5:30, exactly a week. If at any point in that week window, you comment on this YouTube video. I know some of you out there watch it on the public access channel. We appreciate you as well. Head on over to the YouTube channel, comment on there. What's something you may be able to comment? Tell us your favorite movie of all time. Tell us your favorite movie of 2023 so far, your favorite PBL segment or moment, really anything. If you comment on the YouTube video, we'll take your name and you will be eligible for the drawing. But it doesn't stop there. Let's move over to surprise number 2.
Ooh, number 2. Let's go.
I feel like I'm going to my Bob Barker moment here. Let's show them what's behind door number 2. The main purpose of this video series has been to recommend movies to you guys out there. So we've been hard at work here the last week or so. We're going to come up with, I guess, essentially in no particular order or ranking, our top 100 movies we recommend.
That's right.
This isn't necessarily favorite, best, anything like that. These are just movies that were I guess you can, in a weird way, it's kind of favorite.
In a weird way, it's kind of our favorite and kind of our best.
Yeah.
However, we are going to have a lot of similar ones, but we're also going to be, there's some that I'm going to pick that I know you would be like, yeah, no, that was terrible.
Any of the Lord of the Rings, probably.
Yeah. So there will be, it's just going to be 100 films that we like, we enjoyed, we want other people to see them.
And the reason why we're telling you this is because we will be posting these on some of the social media sites that we have for this channel overall. We meaning me, have not been doing a great job of advertising those. We post on there every once in a while. But here's why it's relevant to the competition for the gift card. If you comment on any of our social medias as we post here within the next week, part of it will be those top 100 movies. That will be throughout the week as well. And any other posts or stuff like that, we'll make sure we have plenty of options for people out there to comment on. If you comment on there, that will be an extra name you can have in the drawing for the card.
Yep.
We have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram page. We have a TikTok. I want to stress the channel has a TikTok. Nick does not have a TikTok. He still has his morals. But we will also be introducing this week our Threads account. We're going to try that out as well. So essentially what this means is if you comment on everything that's available here, you have 5 chances to win the $100 gift card.
$100.
As long as you comment within the week specified here from Thursday 5:30, which by the time you've seen this has already passed, until next week. We will keep track of it. We will keep your names tallied and everything like that. And for those of you who participate, will be eligible for the drawing. We probably won't do it right away because we shoot these a little bit early. So by the time we shoot next week, the drawing will still, you'll still be eligible to participate in it and get yourself in the running. So it'll be probably a couple weeks till we do it. But there you go. There's some things to look out for as a thank you to all of you who've been watching us for 100 episodes and a couple years of memories.
Yes. A lot of memories.
Speaking of memories, oh, no, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say a couple of different sets, couple of guests.
Yeah, we've been through a few
sets, haven't we? We've changed things a little bit.
We're like a Pokemon, just constantly evolving. When do we reach our mega evolution?
Not for a while.
Probably when like NPR calls us, right? Or like when we get a Spotify or
satellite radio
podcast. There we go. Yeah, there it is. That's our mega evolution right there. But like I said, speaking of memories, let's move into the opening spotlight here. Get on to the show itself. Not a lot of news here. I mean, yes, at the time of this recording, Barbie and Oppenheimer did great at the box office. Love to see that. It performed a little bit better than expected, but that wasn't really news. We kind of knew that going in.
Yep.
We were going to do a Comic-Con recap. However, nothing really happened at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So it's been a dead week. So as a little bit of a special here, and we may do future stories like these, but we wanted to talk about some movie theater going experiences combined. What do you say? We got a couple decades worth of movie theater working, going to, just hanging out. Yeah. So we got a few stories here.
A lot of stories. Not all of them are safe for YouTube or podcast.
That was the toughest part. That was the toughest part.
We got a few.
So like I said, we'll go through a few here, and we'll save a few for probably a future installment as well. Mr. Meyerberg, you've been hanging out at a theater longer than I have, so why don't you kick us off?
So one of my favorite memories from working at the theater actually involves a few of the staff members when I was actually not employed there. It all happened one night when we were just hanging out in the lobby talking, and I noticed some weird stuff on the new Batman poster. And long story short, we actually made a video about it somewhere, one of these sides that you'll see. There was an ARG, a Batman ARG that we discovered. Huge shout out to Cole and Jada and Isaac and the rest of the crew that kind of helped us get along there. But that was one of the coolest things because it was an ARG that we found, alternative reality game. For those of you who don't know what ARG stands for, it was so natural. We just found it and dug and kind of figured it out. It wasn't one where we saw it online first and then did it. It was 100% all natural. Just found it, and I think that'll be one of my top memories for a while.
So I feel like I've got to add kind of my perspective of the story here as well, because I was there that night. I was working, I believe. The number of times this guy just comes into the theater and just chats us up and just talks about all these theories, all these things that he's got, whatever movie rumors, whatever. It's at least once a week.
It is.
I can't exaggerate that.
Yeah.
So when you started looking at that poster and you started talking about all these smudges to me is what they looked like, I was like, this guy's just talking nonsense. Nothing new here. I went back to cleaning. I want to say it was the next day you really dug into it, and then you were like, no, this is actually a thing. And you were pretty early on finding it. It was a legitimate thing you were finding there. And little did we know it would lead to one of our highest viewed videos on the channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like I said, it was, we got lucky and found it right away. Like if we wouldn't have hung that specific poster up in that specific area, we wouldn't have noticed it.
And if you hadn't looked at it in just the specific light.
Yep. Because you needed the correct light. You technically really needed a black light or an infrared light. And that I ended up going and buying one just so we could examine it more. But I'm like, there's something on this poster. I can see it. And you guys are all like, oh, you're crazy. Like,
okay,
but I will say,
in our defense, 95% of the time we're right when we say that. This just happened to be the 5% time for you.
Yep.
So it was pretty cool though.
Yep. It worked out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell a story here. This is probably one of the first ones. We talked about some of these, but we probably can't say it in a public access channel. This one walks right up to that line.
All right.
So I remember. Actually, this kind of ties into last week. We talked about Interstellar. Me and a friend of mine, we wanted to go see Interstellar for the longest time. Multiple things kept blocking us. One of the things was we were involved in the drama department. And so there was like one weekend where we couldn't do it because we were just busy that entire weekend. Also around the same time, no, this was a different time. Okay, scratch all that. My memory's coming back to me now. All right, skip all that. Avengers Age of Ultron premiered. This was a weekend where we did have a play for the drama department, so we were busy with that all weekend. We couldn't go to the opening night premiere. We couldn't go Saturday, and we timed it we had like a Sunday matinee, which we very rarely did, and it timed out just right where by the time we got done and cleaned up, me and my friend looked at the time, we saw the show times, and we were like, if we go now, I think we can make an Avengers Age of Ultron showing. Remember, this is still fairly early on in the MCU.
Yep.
3 years removed from Avengers. I missed the Avengers big premiere weekend. I was like, not happening again. I saw everything that happened.
Yeah.
Because I had to avoid the internet for an entire summer of 2012, basically. Yeah. So me and my friend, we book it up there. Thankfully, didn't run into any state troopers because that probably would have stopped our plans. We make it. Even though it's like a Sunday matinee for even just the theater here, it's pretty packed house. We're kind of up in the second, if not the third row from the screen. So not optimal place to watch, but we didn't complain. We were watching it finally. So for those of you who remember Avengers Age of Ultron, it ends with sort of the new Avengers. Yep. And Captain America does that walkout, and he goes, Avengers, and he looks like he's about to say his famous catchphrase, Avengers Assemble.
Yep.
But it hard cuts to black. I was so entwined in the movie at that point and so wanting to hear him say that, I instinctively, I didn't plan this, nothing. As soon as it went to black, I went, well, you too then. And thankfully, out of the corner of my eye, I saw there was a row of kids with a family, and that's what stopped me from saying the actual bad word. Yeah. But I straight up yelled at the screen, well, you too then. And I had to stop myself and just was like, funny. I was like, oh, that was the closest I ever audibly yelled at a screen or something like that in a negative way. But
that's pretty wild. And I can imagine you doing that. I can very easily see you doing that.
I wanted to hear him say it so much. Little did I know they would do it better later on in Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
But I would argue he still could have said it multiple times.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
100%.
That's all I'm saying.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let's take a short break to talk about the Marshall 6 Theater here in Marshall, Minnesota. July is a hot month, not only for outdoor temperatures, but also for blockbuster movies. So if you need a place to chill out, catch some entertainment, or both, the Marshall 6 Theater has exactly what you're looking for. So be sure to check out their website for showtimes on all of the movies they have available only at the Marshall 6 Theater here in Marshall, Minnesota.
Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let's move into a second story here. What's one you got here?
All right. So this story kind of goes back into my managing days. When the new Wizard of Oz was released, or the one with James Franco, it starts out black and white, and forgive me if I'm not remembering correctly, but I think it's silent. The very beginning of the film, it shows the Warner Brothers logo, and it kind of fades into the movie. I was under the impression that I uploaded it to the projector incorrectly, not the correct way.
Yeah.
So, like, I freaked out and, like, ran upstairs to go check to see then. And by the time I got upstairs and my senses kind of kicked in, I realized, nope, this is the way it's supposed to be. And I thought I totally messed up uploading it into the system. And that was like oh, crap. Like a very, like, oh, boy, I messed up.
We don't talk too much about that sequel, but that was a pretty big movie at the time. You had a pretty big cast, Mila Kunis, James Franco, and all that. And it was this like sequel to Wizard of Oz, one of the most popular movies at all time. Yeah. I can assume the pressure kind of had to be on you there.
I don't remember like if it was like one of the earlier films that I did or what or where that fell in my career, but it was like I just had this immense, overwhelming feeling that, and then just that sprint upstairs is like, oh, no, it's supposed to be like that. You're fine. Yep. That was a very scary moment for me.
What was another? I feel like there was another story out there, neither of ours, but there was one where it is like the movie is edited so it looks like the film reel like burns out for a second there or something like that. Oh, and it like freaked out projectionists back
probably
in the time.
like maybe Fight Club, because
that's what it was. I think it was Fight Club. Yep. That one freaked out a lot of projectionists because it like.
That's exactly what it looks like.
It's part of the film, so it looks like it's malfunctioning. And like, I'm assuming it's like the same thing where they're like, they're crapping their pants and they're like running up there, and then the movie keeps.
Especially if you're just like checking in on the theater, or because back then you had to go check.
If you hadn't seen the movie before that and you just saw that, you'd think it was just broken.
Yep. Brain wraps we used to get too.
Yeah,
those are not fun.
Okay, so my other one I'm going to talk about here, this was during a time where I was taking narrative film here in college. Mm-hmm. And so the routine was I would kind of work all week and then sort of last minute procrastinate / change everything that Monday because class was Monday night. So Monday night I was super stressed out. We'd get done with class and my routine was I would always go to a movie every Monday night. It was essentially my Monday movie night. Yep. But usually by the time class got out, only showtimes left were 9 o'clock showtimes. This was back when Marshall 6 still had 9 o'clock showtimes all week. Yep. Now they only have them really on the weekends, Tuesdays and everything. So I went to go see Black Panther. Again, another movie that took me a while to see. It took me like a month to finally get around to this one. So by the time the movie was done, and I think this one's also like a 2.5 hour movie as well. So it's a long one. And so it's about midnight by the time it's done. It's just me and one other person in the theater, in the entire theater. It's just two of us. So the credits start rolling. It's an MCU film, so you know there's going to be an end credit scene. And one of the ushers, I didn't know him, as I do know kind of the staff nowadays, but I see him kind of walk up to the other person who happened to be a female, and I can't hear their conversation because the music's still going on, but I do hear her kind of like nicely shake her head no, and then kind of like walk away. Mm-hmm. So I'm just kind of thinking to myself like, oh, I wonder what they talked about. My first theory is, oh, I wonder if this guy asked this girl out. Yeah. And she said no. And that's like my joking theory, but it's my only theory. So then she says no, walks out of the theater, and then he starts walking up the steps towards me. And I was like, oh no, bro's going for just anything at this point right now. And he walks up to me and he goes, so there is an end credit scene. It's like 10 minutes away. Do you want me to fast forward it for you? And I was just like in shock because I'm like, what? Can you? Like I was asking him first physically, can you? Because I realized this was a digital projector. I'm still thinking of the old reel film where you really couldn't do that. Yeah. But also I'm thinking like legally, can you? Like, can you legally not show? I guess if you fast forward, you're still technically showing the credits or whatever. But I'm like, can you? And he's like, yeah, it's no problem. I was like, yeah, sure. It'll save me 10 minutes. It'll save you 10 minutes, I guess. I'm assuming this was the last movie. So he walks out. Yeah, sure enough, like 2 minutes later, all of a sudden I just see going on the screen. And I'm like, it was so surreal. I can't explain it because I've seen a movie get fast forwarded before.
Yeah.
I know what that looks like. It's
Yeah.
not the first time I've seen a movie get fast forwarded. It's the first time I've seen a movie get fast forwarded in a movie theater, though.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. It was just weird. It's just a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, that's just a few quick movie theater stories. We got a couple more where that came from.
Plenty.
I think the reason why we only did like kind of a part one to this is because I think a lot more will start coming to our heads.
Yeah.
Later on, hopefully.
There's a lot of interesting memories. The more I think about it, you're right. The more that come back.
Or we may have to have like a PG-13 or rated R segment or something like that to really let us tell all the stories and everything too. But that's just how the game is sometimes. But let's move into the weekly preview. We had a big weekend of movies last week. Let's see if the momentum can carry on here. I don't know if it will.
I don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Coming out Thursday, July 27th. So by the time this video comes out, these movies will be available. First one, Happiness for Beginners. This one's coming out to Netflix. It's a romantic comedy starring Ellie Kempler. Follows a woman who's trying to essentially reinvent herself after a messy divorce. So she goes on this like adventure hike in Connecticut. We're not talking like an afternoon hike. We're talking like multiple nights of camping.
Yep.
What is it they say in the trailer? Like 51 miles?
51 miles
is the overall trip.
Yeah, and I don't know if they said they were hiking the total 51 or just portions.
It was they say like 51 miles of like the Appalachian Mountains come into there or something like that. Yeah, whatever. But the point is it's no easy hike.
No.
This is something people can get like hurt on or something like that.
And bears.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, it's the wilderness. There's animals out there.
Yep.
That's why I'm not a big nature guy. Like, I respect nature, but that's their territory.
Yeah.
I stay here, they stay there. That's the unwritten rule. And I can see nature documentaries. And honestly, with the quality of cameras we have today, it actually looks prettier on screen than it does in real life. I'm sorry. Sorry to all you nature people out there. It's just not for me. But yeah, she it's a romantic comedy. Yep. So she meets someone, they fall in love. Will they, won't they? It ensues.
And that someone happens to be her brother's best friend or
her younger brother's best friend.
Yeah. So that's
who
a whole
they haven't
dynamic.
Connected with in a while or something like that. Yeah, that was such a weird thing. Did the
movie
need that?
I don't know. Maybe if we watch it, it might need that. I can't actually think of a good I
can't think of a reason why
it would need that, but it's got it. I think this is what Erin did after she got fired from The Office.
Yeah.
This is what she does.
Yeah.
Realize, wow.
There we go.
I'm done.
Office Cinematic Universe confirmed there. I don't know. You like I said, romantic comedy, if you've seen one, you've seen a bunch. And that's okay. I think a lot of people have been talking about how the Marvel Cinematic Universe and action movies really are kind of cookie cutter. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing we're into. And that's okay. If you enjoy a nice, easy movie to take a break after watching 3 hours of scientists debating nuclear holocaust, that's fine.
That's okay.
Not every week has to be Nolan big explosion.
Yeah.
Let's just watch Ellie Kemper take a walk through the forest.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Maybe get hurt, maybe not.
It's not for me, but I think I'm saying this because I feel like I've been hard on people and on romantic comedies in the past. If it's your thing, man, if that's your bag, baby, as Austin Powers would say, do your thing, man. But that being said, we are also going to talk about some existential dread and sci-fi here as well. Yes. Also coming out that same day, also to Netflix, a Netflix double feature that I would not recommend because these movies are very opposite.
They are very opposite.
Paradise. This is a German movie set in the not too distant future. A pharmaceutical company has found a way to transfer youth from one person and pass it on to another. In this world, billionaires basically then use this to pay the poor a bunch of money and sort of steal their youth here. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm almost...
Their essence.
Their essence, yes. Now that I'm saying it out loud, there's almost a weird sort of transfer of power that may just never stop at this point.
Yeah.
Because now if you're super rich and old, can't you just pay...
You can just live forever.
...the person and just take it back, and then it's just keep going back and forth? I don't know if they thought this through is what I'm trying to say.
Because I was kind of thinking that too, because I don't know if she gets sentenced to a crime, the girl, one of the protagonists, but they take 40 years from her life. Like, why couldn't her husband say, because they're trying to work it out, why couldn't he say, well, I'll give you 20 years,
Yeah.
and then I lost 20 years, so now we're even.
Yeah.
So, like, why, like, there's some things, but I think it looks really good.
20 years ain't nothing, but if both you and your spouse 20 years as a couple, that's better than just your wife losing 40.
Losing 40. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the husband? Okay, let's actually talk about what does happen in this movie because you just blew this plot wide open. Basically, yeah, the wife character, she has like this debt or whatever. And so, yeah, she is sentenced to, instead of, I guess, prison 38 years is like, well, give us 38 years.
Yeah.
And it ends up going to like this dude's boss.
Yeah.
So what does he do? Shoot him up action where he's going to blow some stuff up and get it back.
Yep.
But yeah, your way makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Because even the wife was like, we were supposed to grow old together. And it's like, yeah wait, why didn't they just both give like 20?
That's exactly what I thought when she said we're supposed to grow old together. I was like, well, he can just give you 20 and now you're relatively the same.
He works for the company.
Yeah.
He can do that.
Yeah. So
he has the equipment.
I do think
you're just a much better husband than I think most movie characters.
Yes, I am.
He didn't pay me to say that, Jessa. Yeah, but it does look good.
It does. It looks very interesting and thought-provoking.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'll be excited to see it. I did watch, what was the last good German film I watched? All Quiet on the Western Front. And the subtitles, I understand if you are not a subtitles person. I get that. I really wasn't either until probably the past 5 years. Then we've watched a lot of stuff with subtitles. So I can see that and I get that, which it won't be a problem for me, but just a heads up, it is in German. So it is a subtitle film.
Yep. But then Friday, July 28th, we'll see the big premiere item here, Disney's Haunted Mansion, coming straight to theaters. This is the second incarnation of the Disney park ride turned movie.
Yep.
It stars Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson, Tiffany Haddish, Rosario Dawson, Lakeith Stanfield. I'm missing a few, I know, but that's a lot of the main ones here. Jared Leto, he's played a scary clown.
Yep.
He's played a vampire, and now he's playing a ghost in this movie. I believe Jared Leto will not rest until he has his own line of Halloween costumes that is his specific brand, his own branded Halloween costumes. A Jared Leto, Hallow Leto, if you will.
Instead of Spirit Halloween,
Letoween.
Letoween. That would be the new show.
Trademark.
Yeah.
You can't take that from us, Jared. Come at us.
Or just give us some money.
That too. I'm good with either, to be honest. He's rolling in the Morbius dollars,
Yeah,
so
he's
he
got
could,
that Morbius money.
He could pay for it. Oh, making fun of Morbius will never be old.
No.
But yeah, like I said, second time they've done a Disney park theme ride as a movie, which sounded kind of weird. However, there's actually quite a few Disney park rides.
You know what one of the famous one is? Probably the most famous?
Probably the most famous. Yeah, that would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's right. That's based off a ride.
Yeah. But there's others. So Jungle Cruise came out a couple years ago. That was based off a ride. Tomorrowland, based off a ride.
Yeah. Yep.
Country Bears, based off a ride.
Ooh, Country Bears. I haven't seen that in a while.
I know. And that's just the one. And like I said, that's just the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
There's others. So this is not too weird of a thing. Here's where I do hesitate with this movie, however. I love the cast. I love the idea. And I'd have to rewatch the original one with Eddie Murphy to see how well they balanced it. But the tough part about this is you're trying to be scary. It's a haunted mansion. But you have a very comedic cast also doing funny things.
Yep.
That is a hard thing to balance.
Yep.
And I know there's a few moments I laughed in this trailer. So I'm almost wanting to see this movie just out of the morbid curiosity of trying to figure out how they balance comedy and scary
and
horror.
Especially a lot of like kids horror or kids scary it's like you're right, it's half comedy, half horror. How do you balance that though? You can't make it too scary, and you can't make it too funny either. Otherwise, it's just.
But there are a couple creepy character designs here that I'm like, really? This is Disney wants their name on this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not against it. I'm just saying this. We've talked about Disney in the past, and Disney in the past have done some creepy things.
Yeah.
This might be the creepiest looking Disney movie in the past few decades.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
Hey, we talk a lot about movies on this channel, but sometimes the ones we talk about aren't the most accessible. That's where the Marshall-Lyon County Library comes in handy. They have a great collection of physical media, as well as a couple of online services with many options for movies, TV shows, and documentaries. It's easy. Just get your own library card at the Marshall-Lyon County Library and gain access to their large variety of movies, TV shows, and of course, books. Also, be sure to check back every month as we here at Popcorn Bucket List make specific movie recommendations based on a monthly theme. This month, we celebrate the US of A with the most patriotic movies. So head on over to the Marshall-Lyon County Library for some of our favorites and check out the channel to get even more movie recommendations. And now, on with the show! Also coming out this weekend, Talk to Me. This one's coming out to theaters. An A24 horror movie, A Twisted Hand with mystical. Sorry, my voice is for some reason scratchy today, and okay. I am parched. 100 episodes. You think I'd have it better figured out here. A twisted hand with mystical powers can help people talk with the afterlife, but hang on too long and they follow you back. Seriously, what is up with the horror movies this summer?
It's great. I love it.
I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but I'm like, are there going to be any left by the time October comes around?
No.
We've talked about this. Horror movies have gone through a renaissance, especially last year. They've gotten popular. But, geez, it means it's almost like every week.
I feel like just about every week or every other week we're talking about one, if not two, horror movies. Between Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, Peacock, Apple TV, and theaters, it seems like there's something new all the time.
And technically speaking, if you want to include Disney's Haunted Mansion, that's two.
Yeah.
This weekend alone.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I like A24 films. I think this one it's a little bit of a different premise, sort of. Obviously, the opening up a portal or a door
to the afterlife, whatever.
And then bringing the spirit back and having to deal with it. So like it's a different way with the hand. It's just it looks pretty good.
During one of the moments in the trailer, a bunch of kids start video recording on their phone when the person starts touching the hand and everything. Is it just me, or does that feel like kind of a commentary on social media trends in general?
Oh, 100%.
I could
100%.
definitely see some new TikTok trend where they're like, watch as we summon a demon, bro. and for those of you who think that's over the line, just remember, it wasn't 4 years ago when people were eating Tide Pods.
True.
Something that was known poison for internet clout.
There's been a lot of things people have done for internet clout that they should not be doing.
I'm just saying. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. It's 100 episodes. We're supposed to be positive
That's
here.
Right. That's right.
I'm not going to say it. Instead, let's just, do you got anything else to say on this one?
No.
Okay,
no.
In that case, let's just move on before I say something I regret here. Finally, coming out this weekend, The Beanie Bubble. This is an Apple TV Plus project. So it's based on a true story, but not based on a true story. I don't know if I was looking around a little bit. I don't know if I really got a fully straight answer here, but it's loosely based off of the rise of Beanie Babies.
Rise and fall.
I guess fall. Yeah, we don't really talk about Beanie Babies as much anymore. So yeah. But yeah, basically it's talking about the rise of this stuffed animal toy. I guess names were changed, or enough of the information was changed so they didn't have to pay the real people rights or whatever, which apparently some of these people involved in this were scumbags and liars and cheaters. So that's part of the reason why.
Yep.
Is nothing sacred? Is there nothing in our lives that, because apparently Beanie Babies are these nice little toys. Apparently that dude who brought him to rise was a liar and a cheater and a scumbag is what they're calling him here. And the guy who made Care Bears, is he secretly a Nazi? I don't know. At this point, it feels like it.
You never know. You never know.
You read about Disney, it's like
I've seen a couple of those meme Care Bears out there. I don't know.
Is nothing sacred out there, people? It feels like the nicest people are the ones writing scary stories. It feels like Stephen King seems like a nice guy, but he's written some of the scariest stuff. Is that the people who we need to aspire to?
That's it.
I'm getting on a tangent here. I don't even know how much this has to do with the movie. Zach Galifianakis is in it. Elizabeth Banks is in it as well. She's been kind of doing a lot of this thing where taking real life stories and reworking them.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear, friend Isaiah Willock. That's a new piece of the set too. Also, by the way,
thank you. It fits in great. We love it.
Oh yeah, it does. But yeah, it does look kind of funny. It's the same sort of. It gave me a very like Air vibe from earlier this year, and that might be because it's set in the same decade.
Yeah.
So that's probably a big reason why for that. But yeah, if you liked Air, probably gonna like this too.
Yeah, Air was great. I really enjoyed that.
Speaking of really enjoying stuff here, it's time for number one recommends. That's how we're gonna round out today's show. I'll kick us off here. It's no surprise. Christopher Nolan movie gets premiered.
Ooh.
Nick's going to recommend it. Oppenheimer. I will admit, when I first left the movie theater, I just kind of really liked it, which I was like, well, last time I said that was Tenet. But as the weekend kind of went on and as I kind of thought about it more and more, I rose to love it levels.
Okay.
Yes, this is a 3-hour movie. I'm not a big runtime guy. But it doesn't really feel like a little bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end. Maybe things could have sped up. But a lot of the middle goes by pretty fast. And there is a lot of information. When I see a movie and I'm thinking to myself, wow, that was really long, I ask myself, well, what would I have cut? And I really thought about it, and I was like, I don't know if there's anything you can cut here. Every piece of the puzzle, and the thing with Christopher Nolan is it's never a linear storyline. It's all over the place. But everything has, it adds to a character moment, or it adds to a character motivation, or it adds a piece to the timeline, adds to the story. There was nothing wasted here. It was 3 hours, and all of my time was well spent. I learned a lot. Fantastic performances. That's the last thing I'm going to land on. Great performances all around.
Yep, because I still haven't seen it yet.
Yep.
I'll see it by the time this episode comes out.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But let us know, what have you seen recently? What are you recommending this week?
So my number one recommendation this week is kind of a tough one. It is The Sound of Freedom. I had the opportunity to watch that this couple of days ago, actually.
Didn't let me know.
It's true. It's true. I hid that one from you, Nick.
I only give him crap because the number of times I went to go see a movie and didn't tell him, and then he would be like so offended, like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me?" I live across the street from the movie theater, and he doesn't tell me when he went to go see a movie. So
it was the last minute thing.
I'm only. You know how many times I told you that, and you still give me. Yep. All right, I'm cutting into your time. It's your time now.
No, I really enjoyed this movie. Jim Caviezel, I don't know how to say his last name, but he does fantastic. A lot of the acting in there is pretty good. However, a lot of it has to do with just the subject of what the film is about. It's a very hard conversation to talk about. And this, I think, does a good job of starting that dialogue at least, or making more people aware of what's going on. And the backstory of like this film was actually like written in like 2015 and made in 2018, I believe. So it's been sitting on shelves for 5-6 years, which is another thing that they kind of really talk about. As soon as the credits start, there's like a 2-minute pause where they're just showing the credits, and then you get another message from Jim, and it's really good. I enjoyed it. I think it's a very important movie to watch. If you have the opportunity, you should definitely go check it out. It's eye-opening a little bit.
I'm starting to realize why the big double feature of the weekend was Oppenheimer and Barbie, because at least you were kind of cheerful at the end of Barbie.
Yeah.
It would be a very depressing double feature to do our two recommends here. We're not ending on a very high note.
No, but like I said, it's a good film. I want people to go watch it.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on this 100th episode of Popcorn Bucket List. Hey, here's cheers. Here's cheers to 100 more.
We made it. We made
Can
it.
we reach?
There
we
it
go.
is.
All right, 100 more. There we go. You have a straw. Yours.
Yep.
Here's quicker. That was a lot smoother in my head. Anyways, special thanks to our partners out there, including the Marshall 6 Theater as well as the Marshall Lyon County Library, and a special thanks to all of you out there. Without you guys watching this every week, we're just two dudes in the basement recording our movie conversations and putting in all this work for nothing. So from the bottom of my heart, I don't get too sentimental oftentimes, but it really does mean a lot to me when people watch this and let us know that they watch it and everything. So huge thank you to all of you out there for these past few years, and here's to many, many more. Again, comment down below, get yourself in that drawing, get yourself a $100 gift card to the Marshall 6 Theater.
$100 gift card.
$100.
I think if you went to one movie a month, that would cover your movies for a year.
Also, don't expect this to mean that when we do the 200th episode, I'm going to do a $200 gift card. I'm not saying that's happening.
Might be more.
No, it definitely won't be more. I'll tell you that much. For myself and Ryan Meyerberg, we'd like to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you at the movies.